I don't really have a point of this video. I kind of just want to tell you guys a bunch of funny stories I look back and facepalm at because I can get so socially awkward at times. It just happens randomly and I never see it coming, which scares me. Like, everything's fine and all of a sudden I'm hit with this wave of not knowing how to interact with people.
I can't even try to initiate a simple conversation with someone without overanalyzing the freak out of everything. I should talk to someone. Wait, what's their personality like? Are they outgoing? Do they even like talking to new people at parties? What do I even say? I hate small talk. No, don't think about that. What's the best way to introduce myself? Should I be friendly or try to say something funny? What's their comedic preference? I don't know what makes them laugh. I don't even know them. I guess I'd know if I talk to them. What do I say after I say the first thing? I don't want to end up saying one thing and all of a sudden it's awkward tension. They seem annoyed. They probably hate me already.
And I didn't want it to be like this extended awkward silence and weird tension. So I decided to try and make a little bit of small talk. I'm absolute garbage at small talk, by the way. And they were talking about something I didn't really relate to, and I couldn't contribute much to the conversation, so I started just zoning out. You know when you start staring into space and just get lost in your thoughts?
One of the only costumes I even remember is when I was younger. I was obsessed with the Powerpuff Girls, and I wanted to be Bubbles because she was my favorite. We've all been in that situation where you have to say bye to someone and it's like, well, shoot, am I supposed to shake their hand or hug them or whatever other confusing goodbye motion? Just do finger guns. Less confusion. And contact. I'm sure the misophobes can agree with me on that one. And with high fives, normally it's not that bad, but I still try to minimize it to the least amount of physical contact as I can.
We were almost out of the building when I realized I forgot to grab the title paper, which is something that you had to staple to the assignment. I told her not to wait for me, and I ran back to the room to grab it. Except I reorganized everything, and I didn't know where I put it. Pause. Don't you hate that? We've all been there. You decide to be good and use your time to reorganize and be productive. Wow, look how great I am making wise decisions. My parents are raising such a great little angel child. Oh wait, where did I put that one thing that was always laying right next to the water bottle? I don't know where it is anymore because everything was always in the same mess, but I still knew where things were. And now that it's all clean, I don't know where I put it.
I do this weird thing I like to call the perfect bite, trademarked. Basically, when I'm eating, I can't just be a normal person. That's the gist of it. What I do is, after I sit down with a meal, I'll analyze it before I actually start eating. I start getting really stressed and anxious when a conversation with someone ends and no one has anything else to say, because there's a possibility where there'll be a few seconds of silence and staring at each other. In an attempt to avoid that situation, my solution is to try and catch the conversation's end at the perfect time so it's a flawless conclusion with no bumbling around. Like, if it was a human conversation simulator game, I'd totally get an A++ super with stars and hearts, and the person's little avatar would go, that's what I would do if I was normal. But since I'm exceedingly bad at anything related to social competence, what typically happens is I start leaving in the middle of them still talking. I mean, I don't mean to do it. I realize the conversation is ending, and I try to over-prepare by beginning to step away so they can finish their statement and it's an easy transition to the conclusion. But I'm really bad at gauging when the right time to start retracting from the conversation is, and I misjudge how much left they have to say. I'm excited to be at the adult stage in life where all of a sudden socializing is easy. When does that part happen when becoming an adult? Whenever that wants to happen, that'd be great. In the meantime, I'll just have to endure not knowing how to end conversation.
Worrying about not looking like I'm paying attention to someone when they're talking to me. So what I do to overcorrect that problem is focus way too much on making it look like I'm listening to someone. I concentrate so hard on looking like I'm paying attention to a conversation that sometimes I actually do forget to pay attention. I do a 180 and focus more on getting it across that I'm genuinely listening than just actually paying attention. And I don't realize I'm not really hearing what they're saying until the middle of their conversation, and it's like, crap, wait, I don't know what they're talking about. I need to start paying attention. And then I focus on trying to make it look like I've totally been comprehending what they've been saying this whole time, and you get the point.
But I think I've got some weird reading PTSD from school because the other part of my brain thinks about how boring and slow and too quiet it's gonna be, and I feel like I have to take notes and memorize things and identify the plot points and know the names and symbolisms in To Kill a Mockingbird. And oh god, was I supposed to read up to chapter 7 by Thursday or through it, but the more I had to read really cryptic books in my spare time where the symbolism is in the color of the main character's curtains, and I'm not even observant enough to realize they had curtains, led me to not really having fun and also feeling like an idiot. I like my subtlety like I like my coffee. Splash in my face
until I decided I wanted a mouse. Something about their cute little faces and how they crawl with their cute little feet and their freaking ears made me obsess over having one, and my parents got to hear all about it. I started loving birds back when I was in 6th grade. Everyone say a big thanks to James Patterson for creating this bird-obsessed monster. I would spend hours just watching all the YouTube videos I could find of them and sending them to my parents. This was a whole new type of fixation. I mapped out on the ground where the cage could go with tape, googled where Amazon parrot breeders were near me. I made multiple PowerPoint presentations for my parents on why they should let me get a parrot. During the summer, we would visit my family in Canada, and my cousin Peyton was really obsessed with ferrets at the time. So we would spend literally entire days on the computers together, researching ferrets and flying squirrels. And Amazon parrots, because they were still my #1 obsession, let's not forget. When my mom had new people come over to the house, she would make me introduce myself and shake their hand, and then when no one was looking, she'd pull me aside to a different room and quiz me. What color are their eyes? That was my mom's training course to get me to be good at eye contact, because I guess I used to be stupid and not look at people when they talked. But I remember that kind of backfired because I'd be so focused on memorizing their eyes that I wouldn't pay attention to what they were saying. I realized more recently that I think sometimes I go overboard and just end up staring at people by accident, and it's very weird, and I'm sorry at everyone.
Putting everything aside here, I freaking really love all of Gordon Ramsay's shows. I have a problem. I've watched like all of the Kitchen Nightmares. I love MasterChef. I love Hell's Kitchen. I love Hotel Hell, even though I've only seen like 1 or 2. I haven't watched Gordon Behind Bars yet, but I still love it.
So, do you want to try and clear this whole island or just make a beeline straight to the castle?
I just want to beat it.
Okay, then yeah, let's go right. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
This video is not going to be easy.
And this is where I get exposed in front of millions of people. Okay, I'll admit it. I don't know my left and rights. Like, it's really bad.
So keep running to the left. That's the right. A little to the right. Hard left jump.
Oh.
Left, 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 left. I saw that.
I got this silly little bear minifigure. His name is Chico, so I decided to innocently carry him around in my pocket for the entirety of the trip. You know, because he was silly. This single action severely changed the course of my mental stability going forward. Jacob eventually came over and showed me a picture he took on his phone. In my tunnel vision, all my eyes registered was that the picture showed more Chicoa in the store. I immediately went feral. Where? Jacob's eyebrows went up in surprise and maybe a bit of fear. And as I looked at the photo again, I realized Jacob wasn't showing me a picture of a different Chicoa section. He was showing me a picture of me at the current Chicoa section I was standing in because he thought it was funny. And in my Chicoa brain rot, I didn't even register I was in the picture. I just saw more Chicoa and went obsessive. This is how I am. Either stand by me or leave. No, I don't need an intervention. Put it away. We'll immediately forget every piece of information they tried to feed you. Even if I wanted to look it up later, my brain goes, get this out of here immediately. We've got to make room for the 4-hour-long video essay about Freddy Fazbear. I started downloading songs I listened to years ago, found some new ones. I was exploring and already getting more and more into the music I chose to leave behind out of fear years ago. I was flourishing, and that's how it began. I didn't know it back then, but this was the first step of a hyperfixation like no other I've experienced. Hatsune Miku was showing me the ways of truly enjoying music. I was playing her whenever I was in the car, consistently looking up new songs and artists to add to my playlist, even listening to her while I work or play video games, which I pretty much never did. My world was changing. And it was all hers. This wasn't just the music either, it was straight up about Hatsune Miku. I met with him for a few weeks, and then it came down to diagnosis day. The nerves, man. I was so ready for him to say I'm a normal person who needs to suck it up. But instead, he was like, okay, so yeah, you definitely exhibit symptoms of someone with the inattentive type of ADHD. And autism. Yippee! My struggles are justified. I'm not crazy. Wait, what was that last part?